Cricket South Africa have announced that Jean James will captain the South African under-19 team for the upcoming under-19 Cricket World Cup, which begins this Friday. South Africa will play their first match in Potchefstroom against the West Indies. This comes after the National Federation removed David Teeger due to security concerns from the position on Friday. The South African Zionist Federation have started a petition to have Teeger reinstated. Rolene Marks, spokesperson for the Federation, joins me now. A very good afternoon and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. The SAZF have called it an act of anti-Semitism that the Federation removed him as captain. Have you managed to speak to the player?
Well, I haven't spoken to the player. We are respecting the privacy of his family, but the South African Zionist Federation is profoundly dismayed and object very, very strongly to this decision by Cricket South Africa to remove David Teeger, who is an exceptionally talented athlete, from his position of captain of the South African under-19 cricket squad. You know, we also doubt and calling to question the veracity of the claims that there are security concerns. For us, this is deeply, deeply concerning, because it reminds us of a very troubling time in our past where Jewish athletes were singled out and excluded. And given that the South African government has an extremely hostile attitude to the state of Israel, we have to wonder whether or not the removal of David Teeger from his position is not politically motivated.
If his comments and sentiment go against the stance of the country and his position is as an ambassador of the country, being a national captain of a junior team, does it not make sense then to perhaps remove him from this very public role?
Isn't he protected in the Constitution for the freedom of speech and whatever his beliefs are? This is the singling out of a young Jewish athlete. I think if there was any other athlete from any other minority community that perhaps disagreed with the sentiments of the government and was removed, I think there would be a national outcry. The last time that I looked, South Africa was a democracy with these rights protected by the South African Constitution and the Constitution of Cricket South Africa, and not a dictatorship where an athlete can disagree with a certain element of the government, because from what I understand, there is not government consensus on some of the attitude towards Israel by the ANC that is present in the government. In fact, I don't think some of the hostility displayed to the state of Israel is reflected by many, many South Africans. So I think this decision is not in line with the sentiments of South Africans or the greater government.
Cricket globally, however, has shown that they really are averse to any political statements being made on their sports platform. It's something that we saw in Australia when Australian batsman Usman Khawaja wanted to have a message of peace and ceasefire on his boots ahead of a test series representing Australia against Pakistan. So perhaps it's actually cricket as a whole that doesn't like their sport being used as a platform for political statements.
Well, I think that's a message that the chairman of Cricket South Africa, Lawson Naidoo, needs to take on board, because he has been a vocal supporter of the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement. And it's such a great pity that Daniel Teeger is being singled out, something that has held South Africa in a very bad light around the world. The optics look appalling, and the coverage that South Africa is getting is not flattering for the country at all. Sport is a great unifier and a great bridge builder, and it is a great pity that Daniel, a young cricketer, an extremely talented young man, is being treated as a pariah. And for Jews in South Africa, it is deeply, deeply unsettling, because this extreme anti-Israel hostility is leading to these kind of acts against members of the community.
Rolene, before I let you go, I just wanted to know if you've heard anything from Cricket South Africa or the ICC. In your statement on Friday, you mentioned that you have called on CSA for the reinstatement of David Teeger, as well as for the International Cricket Council to actually look into the matter.
Nothing yet. However, we call on Cricket South Africa to apologize and immediately reinstate him.
Thank you very much. That is Rolene Marks, spokesperson for the South African Zionist Federation, chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika.